Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, November 7th, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to my podcast, please be sure to check out my website at lisahopp.com. That's lisahopp.com, as well as check me out under Spirit Teacher Lisa Hopp on Facebook. And for those of you coming back every week, thank you so much for your support, for your testimonials. I appreciate you all so much. And I hope our little podcast can grow. Please like, subscribe, and share. Especially, of course, if you feel a connection to what you hear today. It's about serving. It's about serving. So if you feel that it serves you, or would serve someone that you care about, please do. Let's build our community. Like, subscribe, and share. This week, well, for any of you who know how much or have known me for one moment, you know I love Halloween. I love the energy of it. Just a feel in the air, and maybe the candy too much. So the week started out quite wonderful for me, being able to celebrate, to enjoy, to see, just to have the joys of seeing people dress up and be excited and be grateful. And there's so many adults, so many parents that came through with wonderful costumes this year. I think there were a couple dads that won the night, to be honest. So it was a wonderful way to start the week. It does wear me out. It does wear me out. I get dressed up. I will be outside. It's more than 5 hours, honestly, of celebration of this wonderful eve. But every year I look forward to it, and it's a good life. It's a good life. And then we went into this week a bit of a 3D energy. Now, for those of you who are newer to the podcast, the earth is rising up, which is the title of the topic actually this week. The earth is rising up into a higher energy. I like to call it, and maybe it's the good Catholic girl in me, but I love to call it heaven coming to earth. And the energy is rising up of a more, I want to say, peaceful time, perhaps equal time where we are not so motivated by anger and injustice, and there's been healing, cleansing. We are a village, a community. Our earth has the opportunity to heal itself, to repair. But we're at the start of that in many ways. Perhaps we could be in the middle of it. And some days and some weeks are rougher than others as we go through this cleansing. And this week, here in America, with our elections and our politics overall, perhaps, and overall events that would happen anyway in a normal country, I suppose. It's very much of that energy that needs to be cleansed and healed. And it's very hard not to get pulled into it, isn't it? If you're one that, like me, likes to be above it, or hope that I've healed above it, or tries not to get pulled into dramas. It's actually a bit of a challenge for me this week, but I've learned not to speak when I'm triggered, not to post too much on social media, to step back and to take care of how I feel and what higher consciousness I wish to have when the events of the world are going on, because it's so easy to be triggered. It's so easy for me. Here's where it comes from. And I want to make sure to be clear that I say this very humbly about who I am. I want everyone to be happy, healthy, in love, prosperous. It is my work to help you to live your best life, to remove the blocks. I do hypnosis for that, or conduct hypnosis with you. I guide you as a life coach. I help you feel a stronger connection to your departed loved ones in heaven. It's all about having that solid foundation, that security, that openness, that lightness to achieve whatever you want in life, because it is completely in your hands. Your creativity, your imagination, your free will determine your life. But what I'm ever going through, and I can do it, but I still feel emotional. It is hard for me to watch when my fellow humans, in large ways, stop themselves from having their ideal life, don't see their power, don't know that they can create. They come from a place perhaps of anger or other emotions that are blocks. Perhaps they feel that they're not large enough or powerful enough. Yes. They feel smaller. And so they react. And so when you see people working against themselves, you have to learn to let them have their free will and to know it is their journey, it is their story, and you are there as needed to guide. I often tell parents, especially mothers, when you want to be there for your children, you have to let them have their ship on the rocky waters, to be the captain of that ship, and you are the lighthouse on the shore. You are there for them to steer their boat towards, to guide them, but you are not supposed to overtake them or fix it or save it for them, or to fix or save them, or to do everything for them, to be overprotective, to not give them freedom or space. There's this common phrase, if you love someone, set them free. That is what we're supposed to do, set people free. Though that can make it so hard sometimes, because in setting people free, you're also living among what they create, aren't you? If they are choosing an unstable choices that do not benefit, it impacts you as well. However, I am my own creative source. And what I put out, I do get back. So that's why it's so important, and it was so important for me this week, to not allow myself to get pulled in to lower energies, to anger, rage, conspiracy theories, nastiness, insults, to step back and to focus on what I am creating for my own life. You see, if I create my ideal life of health, wealth, abundance, love, and I'm full, it overflows out to those around me. That's how you bring change to the world, by starting within. You've heard that before. It's true. We hear a lot of truths, by the way. They're whispers sometimes and the loud mistruths. But there are a lot of truths. I always like to think of it as God in heaven and our angels and our spirit guides. They throw out little ditties to us, little wisdoms, guidance. They just whisper it out there for us, and we pick it up and we repeat it as a reminder to ourselves. And hopefully enough times we act on it. There were some choices made this week. But as I said, I stepped back. And as I always do, no matter what is happening, I go towards the blessings. I go towards what can I be grateful for? What is good that's going on? And I saw it. I saw it. We are an earth. Perhaps we are a universe. It's rising. And it may not always feel it to you personally, but it's rising. We are expanding, growing, creating. We are doing it in glorious ways. This week, I saw generosity coming at me. Not only through all abundance, through every source of abundance. And willingly and happily and warmly. Here, take this. I want to give it to you. Here's a little more. I saw a flood. And I looked around me and heard stories from others. Someone paid it forward to me. Someone was kind. These stories were out there this week because that is the authenticity of the times. That is who we truly are. There were stories this week again about the supply issue. I haven't seen that too much in my personal life. I have seen higher gas, yes. But I understand. Sometimes we don't come back overnight, especially from something like a pandemic that would affect the whole world. But what I noticed this week, and maybe you did as well, that many of the stories about the supply chain issue were followed up by the real meaning of the holidays. See how we are? We know what is meaningful, what is important. It is more important for me to spend time with my loved ones in their company, drinking a glass of wine if I want to, and just the vibration of the time than what I give materially and what I receive materially. We all know what the real meanings are about. When we are giving a lot in material things, how much of that is because of our own need of healing, of in some way what we didn't receive? Or how much of it is a need to be loved? These times that we're in are forcing us to see what's really important. What's really important and who's really important. To get back to the simplicities. To get back to the basics. To get back to a time when one gift was wonderful. When that special food at the holidays was what we have in our memories. Traditions. Now I may sound like the narrator here a bit of a good Christmas show. But all of the wonderful things that you love about the holidays have nothing absolutely to do with how many gifts you received. And everything to do with what was baked and what was cooked and who was there. Think about that. These times transitioning from that three-dimensional energy of the material world into the transitional energy of the fourth, and then into the fifth, and I know beyond, are times we will be coming into of just pure joy. And not, that's against me, and they're for them, and not for me, and I want something to complain about. Now, I want to be clear. That doesn't mean that you are not, that I am saying to you that I don't understand and that you're not allowed to feel the stress of a lack of abundance in your life or income or anything you feel missing. This is not about blaming. This is not about, or just let it go. All I'm simply saying to you is that you have the ability and the power of your worldview. And the better you have of it, the better your life will be. It's energetic. It's scientific. And that if you think about it, often what we complain about, we have the power to solve. But not through anger, not through reactionary moments. There's a willfulness in this world now among some. A willfulness to believe what you want to believe, even if it's not based in reality. Now, for someone who likes to help people, I'm not sure what to exactly do about that. So I do my best to help, and then I honor free will. Perhaps that's all that can be done. I know that it's part of the cleansing and healing that each person is going through. Everyone's getting their stuff out. Everybody's getting their stuff out. Those prejudices, those scars, those fears, the anger, the rage. It's got to come out. It's got to rise up in order to heal. And I would imagine in its rising up, it can sometimes spin your head around. There are people this week that went to Dealey Plaza in Dallas to await the coming of someone who passed over 20 years ago. This is not to be laughed at. This is not to be criticized truly. What are they searching for? What is it among them, within them, that needs to be healed? It is up to all of us to be kind, to be gentle, to pay it forward, to understand that maybe we are not aligned with energies that are angry or any other emotions that hold us back from happiness. But we can try and understand. Perhaps it is not my story or the same story of someone who is a great believer in conspiracy theories and can be led. But it doesn't mean that I can disown it and have lack of kindness. We all come from somewhere. We all come from where we came from. We come from people and experiences and towns that helped shape who we are. I know people who basically continued what they were born into. All of their ideologies were based on what they were taught. I've always been one that had an inner knowing. I can remember being so young, probably 5 or 6 years old. I can remember being 6 years old, sitting in my pew at church and knowing that I had had more than one life. Knowing that God was love and not judgmental. Always knowing throughout my childhood that there was no way that I could be a better being or a better person than the energy of God, because I was often taught about a judgmental, angry God, that I should have fear. And I never felt that way. I always knew that that wasn't true. And I would have experiences that would tell me that wasn't true, that were unfortunately very isolating among people around me, but I knew. What do you know deep within you? But you question it because someone said that's not true, that's not the way it is, because it's not their story, and they're talking to you from their story. What do you really know? I bet you if you dig deep, you have some wonderful knowings, some wonderful truths. And that is what you grasp. That is what you hang on to. When the world seems upside down and chaotic and negative and unkind, and I also want to say this. If it gives you fear, it's an untruth. If you turn on the channel and someone is telling you to be afraid of someone, it's an untruth. Now, are there scary people out there? Yes. But there is no one out to get you. There is really no lack of justice. It may seem it in front of you with your eyes. But in our journeys, the universe takes care of justice. It takes care of karma. What you put out, you get back. No one can take away from you. Only you can take away from yourself. No one's coming to take your job, to take your toilet paper, to deny you something. It is your mindset. It is your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs, because we live in an abundant universe where the flood of abundance can flow into at any moment if you are open. Remember, humanly, it is not your fault. We are all the outcomes of what people have said to us on repeat. There are more than a few propaganda channels, and unfortunately one calls itself news. And not all of them are perfect. But there's one in particular that feeds lies on every second of every day. On repeat, repetitively, they're programming you. They're programming you to hate. And I hear, especially older citizens, repeating what they hear. It doesn't mean, by the way, that it's all older citizens or a lot of older citizens, but it just happens to be my experience. It's not just, it's all ages. They hear on repeat, and then they believe it must be truth because I keep hearing it. It must be true because I keep hearing it. Then they repeat it as a truth. And then they get angry when it's not the truth at all. It's evil. It's evil at work. And it's not just on your television set. It's on YouTube. It's on social media like Facebook. Sometimes repeated on Twitter and other places. Just because it's in front of you and someone says it on repeat does not mean it's the truth. It's indoctrination. And I've seen it around so much. And I've seen that many people feel the way to handle it is to complain about it or make fun of it. But that doesn't help. That just makes people more tied to it, want to believe it more. I know there has to come a time. I know there comes a time when that does not exist. Something will happen. Something will rise up to disintegrate it. Have you ever heard, and I know you probably have, that there are 3 sides to every story? Always go into hearing something knowing that you have to use your intuition to know if that's the truth. And that it is possible there will be a taint on it. Be discerning. Be in charge. Don't be led, because it affects your happiness. Trust yourself. This is all part of that energy rising. The chaos, the negativity, the muckety-muck, that's all got to get. Well, I think it's pretty much at its, well, it's not its worst, but it is closer. There was an insurrection, a coup, led against my country. And there were people who have been talked into brushing it off. It is coming again because there was nothing done to stop it. So that is what I mean about it'll probably get worse before it gets better. However, yes, we are on the rise. We are raising up our energies and going towards that time when we would not turn against ourselves like that, when we would not harm another human being because a human being told us to or pushed us to. We're coming into a time when it is not possible to hate our fellow man. And it is easy at times, isn't it, sometimes, to feel dislike, immense dislike for another. I go to do it and I walk off from it. I go right to, why are they like that? That would trigger me. It's always about not being loved enough. The worst humans on this earth or not loved enough and do not feel loved enough. You see how that is? That's curable. But you can't do it through raising arms or getting angry or being mean to each other. You can't do it that way. You can't do it through choosing sides. It can only be done through love, kindness. Yes, tough love sometimes, but still love. Will you try that? And also notice when you're being pulled in. It was easy for me to be pulled in this week, but I refused to. I have compassion, empathy, understanding for everyone. I'm happy about that. At the same time, while I can understand what's going on in a large scale, bigger picture, I'm human. I've learned to navigate my human moments. I'm not perfect. I wish I were more. I'm working on it. I'm always thinking about how I can be a better me. It's important to get more of that understanding and that compassion. I can have understanding of a mother last year that had to figure out how to homeschool her children plus work. But know that the best choice to make was not to believe lies about education. So we have to be, or to get angry. Anger stops. Anger is not productive. I can have compassion against or for someone who was laid off. And want to, and it's my job to say to them, good. What's your life purpose? Rather than have them get angry because someone has a job that they don't have. Anger is not productive. Rage is not productive. It doesn't cure anything. It only harms. Love. This week, notice the moments when someone's generous, someone's kind, and be extra attentive to it being you. I always say thank you. It's so important. I never take for granted. Sometimes I say thank you. Whenever someone books an appointment with me, if I'm with people, I say thank you in my head when I see it. Sometimes I say thank you out loud. Gratitude thrives. Anger stops. It stagnates. It brings lack. It brings harm in every way. See this week the little miracles and blessings around you. And then once you notice them, they thrive, they multiply. Smile. Be grateful. Do you know one day you will be in heaven And you will realize how life was so wonderful, more beautiful than you realized. You'll also realize what you missed out on. And you'll vow to learn not to do that again. See it now. Enjoy it now in the moment. Even in any situation, the most severe of situations, if you can have faith and hope and see the blessings, or any blessings, it will help. It will most likely in some way turn it around. The earth is rising up. Strap your hot air balloon on and let's go. Thank you so much for joining me today. Once again, please be sure to check out my website at lisahop.com. If you're on YouTube with me, please like, subscribe, and share. And you're welcome to like and follow me on Facebook under Spirit Teacher Lisa Hop. Thank you. Have a very blessed Sunday and a wonderful week. Take care.